Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here addressing you here today. In the audience, I've got some of our shareholders here, so I acknowledge those members of the audience who are already Flynn Gold shareholders, and hopefully a few of you after this will be inspired to join them on our register. So we're chasing high-grade gold and silver in Tasmania. Our focus at the moment is on the gold, but we do have some exciting silver assets over on the west coast, which we'll get to later this year. The disclaimer. So we've been listed on the ASX for 4 years now. Our package of ground in Tasmania is quite large. We've got about 1,000 square k's of ground, which we're progressively working through. It's a pipeline of projects we're trying to progress. A lot of the ground in the northeast of Tasmania is very similar to the geology in Victoria, so we're looking in some places with very high-grade gold systems similar to Victoria. But as I said, we've got ground on the west coast at Henty, which is silver-lead. We've put out an exploration target. It's about 500,000 ounces at an average grade of 3 to 4 grams per tonne. That covers just a small portion of the Golden Ridge project, and I'll show you that in more detail in an animation at the end of this presentation. Our exploration work we're doing today on the ground is seeing new targets generated, and we're drilling in new areas at the moment. So our techniques are working for us to find new targets away from the old historical workings. And as I said, we're drilling at Golden Ridge and we'll be drilling at Henty later on. So I believe, we're on the cusp of making some significant discoveries. So for our shareholders, hopefully their patience is going to be rewarded with some significant valuation increases in the few weeks and months ahead. Capital structure. So we've got about 390 odd million shares on issue at the moment. Share price is around 3 cents at the moment. So market cap gives us about 11 million, enterprise value of just over 10. Our board, our share is major shareholder is Colin Burke, who's here in the audience today, and Colin holds about 35% of the company. He's been a very solid supporter of the company on every capital raising we've done, and I look forward to his ongoing support. You'll also see on our registers there Lowell Resources Fund, that's headed up by John Ford, who many of you would probably be familiar with, and John's on our board as well, so he provides great insight to our company. And a lot of people who look at investing at Flynn Gold go, well, if Lowell Resources Fund are there for 5% and we've got John Ford on the board there keeping an eye on things, it's a pretty good DD for anyone considering investing in Flynn. Why is northeast Tasmania so attractive to us? It's very much an extension of the Victorian goldfields, and much of the ground we've got there is the same sort of sequence you'd expect to see, with high-grade gold mineralisation in generally narrow vein systems, but very rich. Beaconsfield is the largest mine in the northeast on the margins there. They produced almost 2 million ounces of gold in its history. Over at Mathina, a place called New Golden Gate, that mine ran until about 100 years ago, and they pulled out about 250,000 ounces. They mined down to about 500 metres depth, so we know there's plumbing in the area, and the grade was about 26 grams per tonne when they were mining it in pretty much manual methods. Since that mine closed, there hasn't been a lot of exploration in the area. Just a handful of companies over the last 100 years have been exploring in the northeast. Obviously, with the resurgence of activity in Victoria, that sort of has encouraged companies like ourselves to go and have a look in an area which we think is highly underexplored. In the northeast, our main projects we're looking at is Golden Ridge, and I'll focus on that today. Warrentinna, where we've drilled a few holes there, you're getting quartz veins in turbidites, so it's very much a Victorian orogenic style gold system. Golden Ridge is not like the Victorian traditional gold. We've got an intrusive related system there, so it's very similar to something like King of the Hills in Western Australia. And Beaconsfield, we've got some ground around the mine there as well, which we've just started to do some recon on. So Golden Ridge, as I said, the pink there on the map is the granite, the old granodiorite, which is the younger rock. It's pushed up through the sediments and cooked the sediments. The granite's eroded away faster than the sediments, so you get a ridge around the bottom south side of the granite, and that's where all the historical old workings were, and that's where we first started exploring when we listed a couple of years ago. So we've done some drilling. You'll see we've done some drilling here at Brilliant. 14 holes have been put into there. There's mineralisation there, and there's certainly some exciting extensions to the south of that, and also to the north up to the contact. Trafalgar's been the area where we've done the most diamond drilling of 25 holes to date, about 8,000 metres. And then the green dots you can see from Kensington across to the link zone are a handful of RC drill holes we've put in, just on some sort of chasing up soil anomalies and what have you, and we've had some good indications of gold in those areas there. So what that work has done has led us in November to putting out an exploration target which covers about 30% of that 9 kilometre zone, which runs from the east to the west. So you can see that made an exploration target. It's 3 to 4 grams is the number. About 449 to 520,000 ounces is the contained gold in our estimation, and most of that is at Trafalgar at the moment. You can see the grade range there is much higher at 4.5 to 6, and that's an area where we've been focusing to date. But as I said, this only covers a small portion of the whole Golden Ridge system, and we think we'll be able to add a lot more ounces to this exploration target as we go forward, testing some of the new areas. So that map just shows you where all that drilling has been. You'll see it in a better version in a moment with the video, which I'm just about to play. But yeah, basically, drilling here at Brilliant gives us about 82 to 115. A few holes on link zone just gives us a number of veins we've modelled, and most of the vein system is up here at Trafalgar, which is the 300-odd thousand ounces in the exploration target. Right, I'll just play this video. It goes for about 4 minutes, and it'll give you a good 3D impression of the system. We start with a flyover of the Golden Ridge, and you can see the vegetation on the top. It's pretty open woodland, but most of the area is actually covered by blue gum plantation, so we're not really affecting any native vegetation. So Victoria, as you know, over 80 million ounces of gold's been produced in Victoria, but only about 3 million's come out of Tasmania in the northeast. And most of the exploration and mining work that was done was pretty hand-to-mouth type operations by the old timers. That's a drill rig that we've got running there at the moment. You can see sort of the terrain it can work around. Our team is based in Scottsdale, which is about 80 k's to the east of Launceston, and it's very central to not only Golden Ridge but Warrantina and also Beaconsfield to the west. You can see the blue gum plantations there. These are all forestry, state government controlled forestry activities, and we're just to fly into a 3D fly through here. You can see the pink is the granite contact, which comes around through here. This is the arsenic soil geochem we've been doing for the last 4 years. We've been working on that. Gold matches up very nicely as well. And our historical workings tend to be matching those. But over on the west side, Grenadier is a new area we've found through soil sampling. So as we pull back the terrain, you can see the location of the drilling that's been done to date. There's not a lot of holes when you actually get and look at that distance. There's 3 kilometres between Brilliant and Trafalgar. The light pink is the model of the granite contact, and the red are the model veins that contribute to the exploration target. So you can see Brilliant on the left there, link zone in the middle, and Trafalgar on the right. And as we have a look at the mineralised zone, you'll see it's interesting that the Brilliant veins sort of line up with Trafalgar North veins, which is 3 kilometres away. Most of the drilling at Trafalgar has reported the best grades. Up to 5 holes have produced grades of over 100 grams per tonne in the veins. There's 3 main veins at Trafalgar, lots of other secondary veins as well, and then Trafalgar North, we discovered that about 12 months ago from soil sampling and trenching exercise. And what's really exciting also is you're seeing gold on it, both sides of the contact, so you're gold in the granite and gold in the sediments adjoining it. And that really gives us confidence that we can find a lot of mineralisation along that 9 kilometres or more. Our model only extends 500 metres down at Trafalgar. It's about 600 metres long. And then when you come around to Brilliant's at the top of the hill, whereas Trafalgar is at the bottom on the contact, which is about a 300 metre vertical elevation difference. So the grade at Brilliant is less, we believe, because we're a bit away from that granite contact. The closer you are to the granite, the higher the grade. That's what we're seeing. So there's opportunities for us to expand Brilliant by going and exploring down the slope on the granite contact, which is under scree, so there's no outcrop down there. So as I said, there's the exploration target summary again. And here's some of the targets that we've generated in our pipeline. So we've got Grenadier to the west and Double Event to the east, and we're working on both those at the moment. We've done some trenching at Grenadier. It's about 300 metres of veins we've exposed in the trenches, and you can see some of the intervals. These are basically like a horizontal drill hole, these trenches, and so we're getting results which are JORC compliant, and you can see the drilling which we've got underway at Grenadier at the moment. Double Event, we're doing some trenching there and we'll be reporting on that soon. We've also got these other targets, Kensington, Blinding, Duke, Big Penny, Queen of the Earth. They're all areas which are lighting up on soil geochem, and we haven't actually gone out there and had time to go and explore them in any great detail, but we certainly will be advancing as we go forward over the next few months. So just to recap on those two pipeline projects we're working on at the moment, Grenadier, it's been about a year and a half, 2 years since we identified it with soil sampling. Arsenic, gold anomalies are showing up. And then that really has been followed up by the trenching, which has confirmed the gold potential. We started drilling there a few weeks ago. First couple of holes have been completed. I'll be on site this week to have a look at how hole number 3 is going. And we'll start to see some results coming through from that over the next few weeks. So keep your eyes open for that. And Double Event, we've just been trenching there for about 2 months now. We've got some results about to drop, so we'll be announcing those as soon as they come back from the labs and we can pull together an announcement on that. We've already applied for drilling permits at Double Event, so once we've completed the first round of holes at Grenadier, we'll move over to Double Event and put some holes into that because we like what we're seeing there so far. And as I said, we've got all those other targets which haven't been drill tested yet. One other thing we've done at Grenadier is that we've also taken about 10 tonnes of material out of the vein, which we exposed over about a 15 metre length. We put some of that material through the labs. We got over 10 grams per tonne gold, and we also got 95% gold recovery from some metallurgical test work we did, just conventional cyanide leach. So that gives us a lot of confidence. Both Trafalgar, we've done the same thing as Grenadier. Both those areas are giving us about 95% gold recovery with cyanide leach, so it's not refractory. And as I said, drilling's underway. You can see that map there of the trenches and where the drill holes are. First hole is this one up here, which we drilled. So to wrap up, we're focused on gold in Tasmania with silver as our backup project over on the west coast. We've come a long way in the last 12 months to get the maiden exploration target out, and that's going to grow with these pipeline of targets at Golden Ridge that we've identified through our latest exploration efforts. We think this has got a lot of scale potential, which is very important, as you heard Ian talking about. His ore body's 2.5 kilometres long. You know, we've got 3 kilometres between Brilliant and Trafalgar, which we haven't really tested at all yet. We've got a lot of drilling planned, and best of all, I've got a great team behind me, great supportive board, and very supportive shareholders. So thank you for your attention today. It's been great to have the opportunity to talk to you, and if you'd like to talk with me later on, feel free to come and tap me on the shoulder. Thanks very much.